All right, let's get right into it. Every now and then in the Premier League, you get a result that just completely shakes things up. And today, we're going to break down one of those moments, Newcastle United's absolutely stunning 2-1 win over the juggernaut that is Manchester City.
Now, to really get why this was such a massive deal, we have to start with a number 18. For years, this number has been like a dark cloud hanging over Newcastle every single time they face City. So, what's it all about? Well, here it is. In their last 18 league games against each other, Newcastle had won 0. Not a single one. 16 losses and just a couple of draws. I mean, this was one of the most lopsided matchups in the entire league, a history of pure dominance that felt pretty much unbreakable. Until one wild afternoon at St. James Park, where that whole story got ripped up and thrown out the window. So that brings us to our first major point here. This was way more than just 3 points. We're talking about breaking a curse. This was a massive psychological breakthrough for the club, shattering a mental block that had been there for years.
And you know what's really fascinating? It's how they did it. Eddie Howe's team didn't just hang on for dear life and get lucky. No, they played with a kind of fearlessness and intensity we just haven't seen from them against a team like City. They were aggressive, they pressed high, and they proved to themselves, and everyone else watching, that they can go toe-to-toe with the very best.
So how on earth did they pull it off? A result like this is never an accident. It was cooked up from a manager's masterclass, a really specific tactical plan designed for this exact moment.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. The absolute key was a total reshuffle in the middle of the park. Bruno Guimaraes, who's usually running all over the place box to box, was dropped way back into a deep-lying number 6 role. This was a game changer because it gave them someone who could handle City's crazy high press and launch attacks. And that, in turn, allowed Sandro Tonali to push higher up the pitch as a number 8, where he could get into those little pockets of space that City's attacking style always leaves open. And the effect? It was immediate. That one little switch just injected this whole new energy into the team. All of a sudden, they were moving the ball from defense to attack way faster, with more purpose. You add in the attacking fullbacks coming back into the side, and for the first time in a while, Newcastle just looked right. Balanced, connected, and actually dangerous.
But the masterclass wasn't just about attacking. Oh no. Once they got the lead, Newcastle put on a defensive clinic. They dropped back, formed this super disciplined 5-man block, and basically built a wall. The real genius move here was to force City's attack out to the wings. See, that pulled all of City's creative players out of those deadly central areas they love to operate in. It completely killed the tempo and made City's attacks, well, predictable. But look, you can have the best tactics in the world, right? Big games like this always come down to a few huge moments. It's a game of inches, where everything can change in a split second.
And in this particular match, those decisive moments came from a player who, believe it or not, wasn't even supposed to be on the field.
Yep, Harvey Barnes. He was a last-minute addition after Anthony Gordon couldn't pass a late fitness test. And what does he do with that opportunity? He only goes and scores 2 massive goals to win the whole thing. It's just a classic Premier League story, isn't it? Be ready, take your chance, and you can be the hero. Now, on the flip side of that, for every hero, there's always a story of what could have been. Manchester City created a ton of chances, but as you can see, they were just so wasteful in front of goal. I mean, a huge miss from Erling Haaland early on kind of set the tone for their whole day. When you're playing against a team that's this fired up, you just can't afford to miss those chances.
And then you have the moments of pure, nail-biting drama. First up, Phil Foden goes down in the box. A massive scream for a penalty. The entire stadium just stops, and it goes to a VAR check. And the decision comes back no penalty. You could feel the wave of relief from the home fans and just see the frustration on the City players' faces.
But wait, the drama wasn't over. Later in the game, one of Newcastle's goals goes to a VAR check for a potential offside way back in the build-up. You're just thinking, no way. Is all this hard work going to be erased by a millimeter?
They draw the lines, they check it over, and the goal stands. 2 massive moments, 2 huge calls, and both of them went Newcastle's way. It's the perfect reminder of just how razor-thin the margins are at this level.
Okay, so what does this all actually mean in the grand scheme of things? Let's take a look at the fallout for both of these clubs.
For Newcastle, a team that came into this game way down in 15th place, this is so much more than a win. This could be the spark that totally ignites their season. And for Manchester City, it's a pretty sharp wake-up call that in the Premier League, even the best team on the planet can get taken down if they're even a little bit off their game. So there you have it, a spark of life for one team and a clear warning shot for the other. It's just wild how a single 90-minute performance can send such big ripples across the entire league. Which leaves us with the one big question that everyone's going to be asking. Was this just a fluke, a perfect storm of things going right for Newcastle at a tough place to play? Or did they just give the rest of the league a tactical blueprint on how you can actually beat the supposedly unbeatable champions? I guess only time will tell.